Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're breaking down the full card of Jones versus Miocic through UFC 309. I'm pretty sure, I think it's 13 fights on the card. And first up on the card here, we've got Marcin Tybura versus Jhonata Diniz. With this matchup here, Diniz was supposed to fight Lewis on Edmonton card, but Derek Lewis pulled out, so they decided, all right, let's push him back a week and find him a new matchup. So they found him a new matchup with Marcin Tybura here, and with Marcin Tybura, he's coming off a loss against Sergey Spivak. He submitted Tybura and was coming off a loss against Aspinall. So he is pushing 40 years old, 39 at the moment. Pretty much past his prime, but yeah, he's one of those guys can crack the top 15, but can't crack the top 5, and can't get past big contenders. So he's striking's not the best. I wouldn't really say his striking's all that great. He doesn't have the best footwork. He's more of a guy that's gonna come in, throw some strikes and stay at range, and more so like set up his takedowns and use his grappling. And he's pretty good. He's got some good jiu-jitsu, also very good at setting up submissions. So more of a heavy grappler and a wrestler than more of a striker. Obviously in this matchup, I feel like Jhonata Diniz is going to be the guy that's going to be the better striker as well, former glory kickboxer like we broke down. He has been taken down in the last couple of fights. He was taken down by Carl Williams, but like I said in the last breakdown against Lewis, Carl Williams obviously was told by the UFC not to use a lot of wrestling, and he started using his wrestling towards the end, and it shows in that fight how easy it was to get the takedowns against Diniz. And even the Austin Lane fight, he was taken down. Diniz was taken down by Austin Lane, and yeah, he did well to kind of get up and whatnot. It's one of those fights where like Diniz has better footwork. It's like he's obviously he's going to understand that, chop Marcin's legs down, stay at range, and use a jab. And yeah, it's just his footwork's pretty good. So he's not gonna be stationary fighter. Also, it's like I said, it's one of those matchups. It's like a Ty Tuivasa type of fight, but better footwork than Ty Tuivasa, if that makes sense. So it's gonna be one of those fights. If Tybura, it's gonna be a play out where Tybura constantly gets the takedowns, gets a unanimous decision win maybe by using his wrestling, grappling, and going to be a boring ass fight. Or it'll be just Jhonata Diniz using his footwork, using his jab, staying at range and making it a technical fight until he gets the knockout. So it's that type of fight as well. So yeah, it's a bit of a hard one to predict, to be honest, because Tybura, you can't really count him out. He's only lost recently to the top 5 contenders. Well, Spivak's not a top 5 contender, but yeah, he's pretty well rounded though, even though he can't crack the top 5 himself. So yeah, it's a bit of a hard pick here because Diniz hasn't really been tested by the top 15, and you got Marcin Tybura coming into coming into the end of his career, with the UFC career there. So I don't know, like it's like I said, can go by Tybura and wrestle using his wrestling for 3 rounds, or Diniz getting a knockout. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, this matchup, but it can turn into a boring one, or it can turn into a good knockout. So I'm gonna go with Diniz in this pick here. I'm thinking that he may get the knockout, but again, I wouldn't be so sure with Tybura here. So Diniz is the pick, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if Tybura pulls this off and gets a unanimous win over Diniz here with his wrestling. So Diniz is the pick here. Yeah, I know some of you guys will probably pick Marcin Tybura, which is understandable. But anyways, next up we've got Veronica versus Eduarda Moura. With this matchup here, Veronica, she's has a nice little win streak racked up here. Obviously coming off a 3-fight win streak. Juliana Miller, sorry. She's got a win over her. That was quite surprising because Juliana Miller was coming out of the tough house, and she looked pretty well rounded and looking like a decent prospect coming up. But again, like Veronica Hardy got that win and had a split against Jamie Lynn Horth. She just fought recently. Horth, quite tall fighter in the division, and got a win over JJ Aldrich here. So her takedown defense held up pretty well against JJ there. But yeah, Veronica Hardy's gonna be more of that. She's obviously gonna keep on the stand up. Yeah, she's just gonna stay in range, use some leg kicks. When she comes into the pocket, use some combinations, use a jab pretty well, and constantly switch stance. So she'll be southpaw and orthodox, and constantly give different looks. So that would definitely give some struggles to Eduarda Moura. She's more of a girl that will come in pressure strike, but she doesn't not pressure strike. She'll be using her pressure to kind of set up her takedowns. So she'll throw singular strikes and then really she kind of rushes in to get her takedowns, and it's been working the last couple of fights, even though she's come a loss. So yeah, so she won't throw many strikes. Sorry about that. She won't throw many strikes. She'll throw single strikes and get the takedowns, and she's very good with the grappling and setting up submissions on the ground. So those are her threats there, the grappling and the jiu-jitsu going against Veronica Hardy. But Hardy has done well in the last couple of fights, even getting out of some bad spots on the ground there. But even in the later rounds, I've noticed Veronica Hardy did kind of slow down there a bit there against JJ. Wasn't using her footwork much, and the movement was starting to slow down because of the takedown defense, and the grappling was wearing on her over the rounds from JJ. So yeah, it can go either way. It can be like Eduarda Moura getting a submission win over Veronica Hardy, or it would be Veronica Hardy just picking her apart and staying at range and using her takedown defense as well. So we haven't really seen too much of a takedown defense like out in the open. Like her takedown defense is more hold up against the cage. So we'll see with Eduarda Moura. She's going to be shooting for takedowns in the middle of the octagon. Should be pretty much changing it up, shooting for takedowns in the middle of the octagon, and even like just grappling against the cage and trying to get takedowns from there as well against the cage. So yeah, but I'm gonna go with Veronica Hardy. I think her movement is gonna give some struggles there on the feet against Moura, and she'll pick her apart on the feet. But again, like this, if this fight hits the ground, there is a lot of chances where Eduarda Moura can get the submission win against Veronica Hardy. But yeah, so it's just I could see an upset player here too. So, but yeah, Dan Hardy's quite smart too. So he's going to be in a corner obviously because he's married to Veronica. So yeah, so that's a bit of a help too in Veronica's part too. So I'm gonna pick Veronica Hardy over Moura. But yeah, like we could be wrong here. We could see a nice little upset here, but from Moura as well. So Veronica Hardy's a pick here. Next up, we've got David Onama versus Lucas Almeida. David Onama here, going by the name of Silent Assassin. Fits him well, to be honest. Very quiet. He's pretty quiet dude. So he's coming up with a nice win here against Jonathan Pearce. Jonathan Pearce I think it was ranked number 14 or 15 one time in the featherweight division there. So with this matchup here, going against Lucas Almeida, David Onama is he uses jab. He stays on the outside, uses jab pretty well. Doesn't really throw many leg kicks from what I've noticed as well in his last couple of fights, but uses jab well. More straight shots than anything, but yeah, it does look for counters. So he's constantly moving around the outside, working on striking. He's definitely got that. I really think that his hand speed is going to be a lot better than Lucas Almeida. Almeida definitely does not have the hand speed. And also David Onama is very good at using his reach as well. And he's got some good takedown defense and very good grappling on the ground. He gets out of some really bad spots with getting submitted. So jiu-jitsu is definitely on point. Grappling's on point. So yeah, he's very well rounded, and he's pretty much only recent loss was Nate the Train. But fuck, like he was, it was a bit of a back and forth brawl. Yeah, the IQ kind of went out the window there too for David Onama, and his conditioning didn't look the best either in that fight. So he was, yeah, definitely the gas tank was gone in that fight, but he definitely looks a lot better with his gas tank since that loss there, and yeah, he's putting up some nice win streaks there. So trying to get someone like Lucas Almeida. Like I said, his hand speed's definitely not going to be there. As much as he's a pressure striker himself, he does throw some nice combinations. He does grapple a bit too. He's got some decent takedown defense. Hasn't really used his grappling too much in the last couple of fights, but yeah, more so he got some good takedown defense. But again, like I said, he's been knocked out as well. He's coming off a win against Timmy Kwamba, but he got finished by Philly and submitted by Pat Sabatini. That's crazy. And his last win before that was against Marco Truziano. And I don't know if Truziano is still in the UFC, to be honest. So I don't think he is because I haven't really seen him. So yeah, with this matchup here, I think David Onama is going to get this done. I think he's going to, I wouldn't say knock him out, but there is a possible chance of knocking Lucas Almeida out. But again, we'll see how this fight plays out, you know. It could be decision win for Onama, but yeah, knockout is definitely on the cards. But yeah, again, like we'll see. But I definitely think Onama is going to be too well rounded for Lucas Almeida in this matchup. So Onama is a pick. Oh wow, 81% by knockout, 95% community going with Onama. So yeah, Onama's a pick here by 95% against 5% Almeida. So I am picking Onama to win against Lucas Almeida in this matchup because I feel like this is a bit of a step down in some ways from that Jonathan Pierce win. I think he should be getting someone above Jonathan Pierce, and I feel like Lucas Almeida is kind of a bit of a step down from Jonathan Pierce win. But yeah, so Onama's a pick there. Next up, we've got Oban Elliott versus Bassil Hafez. With this matchup here, Oban Elliott's coming up a nice win against Preston Parsons. He's on a night. Val Woodburn. Val Woodburn was I think he was a late replacement for Bo Nickel and he got knocked out. Yeah, that was on a middleweight fight. That's weird. So he's more of a welterweight. Okay, that makes sense. Oban Elliott here. He's more of a stay at range guy. Uses a lot of low kicks, side kicks to keep the range and distance. More of a guy throwing output than anything. Does use grappling as well, but did come effective in the later rounds. Got some good takedown defense as well. So yeah, his grappling does take effect. It did take effect in the later rounds against Preston Parsons. Preston Parsons is quite a big dude as well in the division. He's more of a power puncher, so he did well to shut him down in that fight, Oban Elliott. So a very well-rounded guy. And even in this matchup, I feel like if he stays at range and constantly uses the footwork, it might frustrate Bassil Hafez. Hafez Bassil is coming off a win against Mickey Gall, but Mickey Gall is not the best fighter. He's on a nice losing streak. He was hyped up at one point, but his IQ, I feel like, is not that great in the UFC. He did have a loss against Jack Della Maddalena, but he was the late replacements against Jack Maddalena as well. And he did well there to actually put himself on the map in the UFC. So even though he took that loss, so Bassil Hafez, look, I don't really rate his striking too well. He's more of a guy going to be loaded up on his punches and constantly coming forward with his pressure. I don't know if he shot a takedown. Probably shot one takedown in that last fight. I think it was like Mick Gall, to be honest. It may not be Hafez, but Bassil's. But yeah, he's striking. I don't rate at all. Like some of his shots fell short against Mickey Gall as well. And he throws a lot of he's spinning elbows and shit like that, spinning punches. They're not even calculated. A lot of his striking is not very well calculated. It's not telegraphed well. Yeah, he does decent on some counters there, but yeah, he absorbs a lot of fucking strikes too. So that fight with Mickey Gall it didn't look good, to be honest, even though he got that win. It just shows that his striking is not that good compared to what his grappling and wrestling is. Yeah, so even though Oban Elliott is very good with his grappling and wrestling, I don't know if he's gonna hold Bassil down but I think he will constantly frustrate Bassil by using his footwork and picking him apart at range. Bassil's pretty damn stationary as well, so he doesn't have the best footwork himself. So he's gonna be. It may be just. It might be a little bit of a boring fight. It might be Bassil just constantly following fucking Oban Elliott around the cage, because I feel like he's not very good at cutting off the octagon either. So yeah, I'll go Oban Elliott there with a decision win over Bassil 3 rounds. I don't. Yeah, unless we get unless Oban Elliott gets knocked out in some mysterious ways. So, look, Oban Elliott's a pick here. 76% going Oban Elliott and 24 with Bassil Hafez. So, Oban Elliott's a pick there by me. Next up, we've got McGhee Gall versus Ramiz Brahimaj. With this matchup here, I feel like if McGhee Gall does not win this fight, he's getting cut by the UFC. He's on a 3-fight losing streak again. Lost to Bassil. Got knocked out by Mike Mallet, and losing to Alex Morono. That tells you the story right there. And yeah, his last win was almost over 3 years ago against Jordan Williams. It's not a really good look. Then he had a loss against Mike Perry. Fucking hell, man. Yeah, he's definitely getting cut if he loses this fight. So again, McGhee Gall there. Strike is not the best. You know, you've seen his last couple of fights. He got knocked out and he got outstruck there against Bassil Hafez, even though Bassil Hafez, I said, like, his strike is not the best. But yeah, he more stayed at range and got picked apart. But he's more of a grappler. He's got better grappling and better wrestling if he does succeed in getting the takedowns and using his jiu-jitsu. So he did. I'm pretty sure he did get a win over Diego Sanchez back in the day. He did look decent at the time, but right now, that was a washed-up Diego, to be honest, as well. Going against someone like Ramiz Brahimaj, he's not looking good himself either. So he's coming off a loss against Temba Greenbow. He was out grappled there, taken down constantly. Michael Gilmore, he might not even be in the fucking UFC anymore. Had a win over him with a rear naked choke. Took him down and submitted him. Lost to Court McGhee. Yeah, had a win over Sasha. Don't even know if that person's in the UFC anymore. He lost to fucking Max Griffin too. That ear injury. Actually, I do remember that with that ear injury. That was disgusting, man. And then Max was bragging about it over fucking Instagram too. That went pretty by quickly. 3 years went by quick. So Ramiz is more of a. Oh look, his strike is not that great as well, but at least he's got better footwork. So he does have better footwork in this matchup. He's better with his striking, definitely. But again, his takedown defense does not look good as well. As much as he got a win over what's his name over here, Michael Gilmore, that might not even be the UFC anymore. So he's like, he took him down and submitted him. But yeah, against high level grapplers and wrestlers, he's been taken down and he's been submitted. He's been controlled, but he did well against Temba Greenbow to kind of constantly get up. But still, Temba just honestly just did not give him space to breathe in that fight. So it's one of those matchups. Yeah, I think he's going to be the better striker than McGhee Gall here. But McGhee Gall does, if he does set up his takedowns, he may get the takedowns. But again, I don't know if he's going to be holding him on the ground. And because Miz did do well, like in the last fight, even though he took a loss by getting up and not staying on the ground. So yeah, I think Ramiz Brahimaj is going to get this win. But yeah, I could see some shit judging too. It could be a 50-50 fight where it ends up being close somehow. And I'll see some shit judging too come this way. And if somehow McGhee Gall gets this win, who knows. But yeah, I'm going to go 69% going with Brahimaj and 31% with going with Gall. I'm going to go with Ramiz Brahimaj as well in this fight. So it's a very, very, very shit fight. So, but yeah, hopefully there's a knockout there. So we speed up the card there. Next up, we've got Jim Miller versus Damon Jackson. Both guys are pretty much, I wouldn't say the same. Both are more better at grappling than striking. Jim Miller did flatline Jesse Butler. So, like with Jim Miller here, he obviously passed his prime. Coming off a loss against Bobby Green, he got completely battered and he didn't succeed getting takedowns. So, I don't know how much damage he took in that fight, like if he's going to be the same guy. Plus, he's getting old as well, 41 years old, Jim Miller. but he can cause a lot of upsets too against guys that are coming up in the division. But yeah, more so obviously he's never going to crack the top 15 at this age. So striking, he's got some decent striking, but more of a guy that's going to set up his takedowns and get the grappling. Very high level with his jiu-jitsu as well. So I feel like if this fight does hit the ground, I feel like Jim Miller could probably possibly get a submission win over Damon Jackson. Damon Jackson is not the best striker himself as well. Yeah, his striking is pretty bad. Like he opens himself up with a lot of counters as well, and he got knocked out by Danny Ige as well. And got not he lost to Billy Quarantillo as well. Had a win over Hernandez Split, which is not the best look as well. Chepe Mariscal as well. He couldn't get the takedowns against him. Chepe did well defending him and picked him apart. But yeah, it was more of a grappling match and wrestling match than what it was a striking with Chepe. So Damon Jackson, like I said, he'll throw some jabs, straight shots, and doesn't really telegraph his low kicks very well. So, and then opens himself up with counters. So, look, Jim Miller could get the knockout as well over Damon Jackson. I feel like Damon Jackson could get knocked out in this fight too. Even if the fight hits the ground here, I feel like Jim Miller's grappling is going to be better than Damon Jackson, but I could be wrong. I think it will be. He's got the veteran experience there. Submission may be on the cards, but maybe not. But I feel like the grappling exchanges, I feel like Jim Miller's got it with this one. But the only thing I'm skeptical about this fight is I don't know how much damage Jim Miller took in this last fight, and yeah, and what he's gonna look like in this matchup there compared to that Bobby Green, because that Bobby Green he did put some damage on Jim Miller as well. So look, with this matchup here, 76% going with Jim Miller, 24% are going with Jackson. So I'm going to go with Jim Miller as well in this matchup. So Jim Miller's a pick with this fight. God, I've got so many pop-ups and shit here. I've tried to get bloody virus protection up and everything, try to shut down these pop-ups and they still pop up. It's fucking annoying, man. I'm not very good with technology. Anyways, next up, we've got Jonathan Martinez versus Marcus McGhee on this card. Jonathan Martinez, known as kickboxing, fighting over a different breed MMA. He was on a nice win streak. Some may say that Said Nurmagomedov could have got that win. Sorry about that, I was about to sneeze. Yeah, some say that he could have got the win, like say Nurmagomedov should have beat Jonathan Martinez as well. But yeah, he is on a nice little win streak here. Vince Morales, Cub Swanson was really bad. That was like a TKO, leg kicks. And Cub Swanson was dropping down in weight at that time too, which is a bad move in that fucking end of your career. Yeah, and Giannis won. Oh, that was fucked, man. He destroyed Giannis with the leg kicks there. But going against Jose Aldo, he did not get it done. It was in Brazil as well, that fight. And Jose Aldo did well to shut down Martinez's offense with his defense. So he did very well on not taking those leg kicks. Did well to cut the range and not let Jonathan Martinez get comfortable striking there. So cut off the range and use his boxing real well. Pick Jonathan Martinez apart with the inside pressure striking. So he had a loss there against Aldo, and he's still young as well, 30 years old. So in this matchup here, he can do well picking Marcus McGhee's legs apart on the range. But McGhee's one of those guys, like, this is a bit of a jump up for him, but he needs this right now he needs this in his life because he's 34 years old and going on to 35 soon. So he needs to really close that window. It's now or never for him, because if he does get this loss against Martinez, there's gonna be a bit of a long climb up there, especially with age. So he's got a narrow window there with age, Marcus McGhee, but more of a guy like He's very awkward with his striking and very good with his footwork, but it works. So he'll fight out southpaw, switch stance with southpaw and orthodox, and yeah, constantly stay on range, like use the footwork on the outside, then he'll come in and throw combinations, and then he'll go back out into the range or switch the stance. So he's very awkward with his striking, but it works, and he's very good at setting up his grappling as well, and getting the takedowns. So he's got a nice submission win as well on his record there. I think that was against Joni Newson. Then knocked out JP Byers and got a standing KO against Gaston Blana. So this, with his opponents here that he's got the win over, this is a big jump up compared with those opponents to Martinez. So yeah, Martinez has a better, obviously, resume so far to Marcus McGhee, but Marcus McGhee is very awkward and he's not going to be stationary, and it's going to be a very hard opponent for Jonathan Martinez. So it's a 50-50 fight. I wouldn't count Marcus McGhee out in this matchup, and he has been TKO'd, Jonathan Martinez, early on in the UFC career, so there could be a TKO of Marcus McGhee, but he has to turn this fight into a dirty one. He can't constantly stay at range, Marcus McGhee, because Jonathan Martinez is obviously going to break that leg down of his. So Marcus McGhee is going to have to be smart when he does enter the pocket and uses pressure striking, and going to have to be, and then even like time his takedowns. Like even if he does want to set up his takedowns and pretend he's going to come in with use combination striking and just set up takedowns. So he's got that in his back pocket. So quite a tricky dude, man. But yeah, some people count him out as well. I think it is a 50-50 fight because we don't know how well Jonathan Martinez is going to go with his striking to a guy that's constantly moving around the outside and not being stationary compared to his last couple of opponents. So he's got some knockout wins too, Marcus McGhee, but again, like I said, the resume is not there compared to Jonathan Martinez. And I would like to go with McGhee, but it's a hard one. Like I said, his resume is not that strong as what Martinez is right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Martinez, 62%, Martinez 38%, McGhee, but it's a 50-50 fight. Like I wouldn't count McGhee out. He definitely does have he definitely could pull off an upset win over Martinez, and if he does, he definitely does belong in that top 15. But this is more of a test for McGhee than it is for Jonathan Martinez, I guess, because Martinez has the nice resume onto his record, and Marcus McGhee's got to prove himself more than what Martinez does. So yeah, Martinez is a pick here, but yeah, I could see McGhee also winning this and making it very awkward for Martinez as well. So Martinez is the pick here. I do apologize, I've got a stuffy nose and whatnot, so if you guys hear a lot of me pausing in between the breaking down fight, I do apologize for that. So next up we've got Mauricio Ruffy versus James Llontop. James Llontop is like he's a late last minute replacement here. Going against Mauricio Ruffy. The UFC's obviously done all they can to keep Ruffy on this card, to make it more stronger, because it is quite a weak main card. It's not pay-per-view worthy, to be honest. So yeah, it's understandable. So Mauricio Ruffy here is coming off a win against Jamie Mullarkey. Jamie Mullarkey, yeah, as much as he's good offensively, he's a punching bag for sure. So coming off a flying knee TKO against Jamie Mullarkey. Mauricio Ruffy, he's very good like with striking, so he's very good staying at range, throwing his leg kicks. Very good at using a jab and counter right. Got some good takedown defense as well, and good defense too. I've noticed he's very smart when he's entering the pocket, and he knows how to when to pick his shots, and is very good with his defense as well. So very good at reading at his opponents as well. So trying to get someone like James Llontop, he hasn't been knocked out, but there's always a first for everything, right? So he is coming off a loss there against Vyacheslav Boshev. He did lose the first 2 rounds, but third round I feel like he was coming back there a bit, and could have stole it and lost to Chris Patil there against with a submission rear naked choke. So James Llontop, he's one of those guys. He's more of a striker than anything. He's more of a push forward guy, and uses jab well. Offensively, he's great with striking, but defensively, he gets hit a lot, man. I feel like he stays in the pocket too well. His head movement's not that great either, so I feel like he's going to be a bit of a punching bag in this fight, and there is a chance that he could get knocked out in the first time in his career as well. So in the UFC, sorry. So yeah, there's a first for everything. But I think if anyone's going to do it, Mauricio Ruffy will knock him out because of how good his defense is as well in the striking. So James Llontop, one of those guys who just turns this into a fucking brawl. But yeah, I've got Mauricio Ruffy win this fight because of how good his defense is as well. The 2% going to go Llontop, a 98%, 93% knockout, 98% overall pick for Mauricio Ruffy. I'm going to go Mauricio Ruffy too. I feel like he's going to pick him apart in this fight. So Mauricio Ruffy's a pick here. Next up on the prelim, Jesus Christ. We're still in the prelims. Nikita Krylov versus Azamat Murzakanov. With this matchup here, Nikita's been sidelined for a bit. He's been injured and whatnot. His last win was against Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann's pretty shithouse, to be honest. He's not that great. That's how shallow this light heavyweight division is. We need some fucking new blood, like ASAP. And but yeah, so Nikita's been more of a gatekeeper at the moment on the last couple of years. So win against Ryan Spann and Volkan Ozdemir, and Gustafsson, and he did lose against Paul. You lost against Paul Craig. Holy shit! And then he lost against Magomed Ankalaev, which is fair. But Paul Craig, man, holy, that's not good look, Nikita. And he's only 32 years old, but he's been around for a while in the UFC too. So striking is not that great. Again, like when he does throw combinations, he does get hit a fair bit too. Defensively, he's not that great on the striking. More of a guy who's going to like try to close the distance and get his grappling down, and very good with setting up submissions too on the ground. But getting submitted by Paul Craig, man, fucking hell, like that's not a good look, eh? But yeah, other than that, he's been injury prone as well, so he hasn't had activity for 2 years, and going against someone like Azamat Murzakanov, I feel like Azamat's gonna be too much for Nikita as well, because Nikita's coming off injuries and hasn't had 2 years of activity as well. And Azamat's more of a guy who's gonna stay in the striking, stay on the outside and into the pocket, throw combinations, uses jab well, and uses that left hand as well very well down the pipe. So, and he's very good at looking for counters as well. Good footwork. He's got some good takedown defense. He used some grappling as well, so he mixed up his grappling a little bit more in his last fight compared to his other fights against Lonzo Menefield, and he did TKO with a counter shot there. So I think it was a left hook, to be honest. So he's quite smart. He did well in that fight. He did wear down Alonzo Menefield because he's like a pretty big dude. So he's quite smart, not just staying at range and use the striking. He close the distance and uses grappling and wear him down over the round. So that was quite smart on Azamat Murzakonov's part too. But yeah, I think he's going to be too much for Nikita on the striking here. He might even get a TKO because Nikita, I don't rate his striking too well, but he'll be doing enough to kind of like looking for the opponent to overcommit and get the takedown and use his grappling and setting up submissions. So he could get an upset win over here. You never know, but you know, I just feel like Azamat's confidence is through the roof at the moment too. So he's doing well. He's on a nice win streak. He's 35 years old, so that guy again. But again, like, yeah, he's got to get down and try to tear this division as well. He's probably got another 1 or 2 years left in him. He might he could get in the top 5 soon enough, but yeah, 35 years old, turned to 36. Yeah, the window's closing on him as well. So Murzakanov 59%, 41 for Krylov, 70% getting TKO, which could be possible. But yeah, so I'm gonna go Murzakanov as well because I just can't count on Nikita Krylov at the moment because activity wise and just striking as well, this is not the best as well. Defensively gets touched up a fair bit as well. So next up, we're finally on the main card here. Chris Weidman versus Eryk Anders. Chris Weidman, not looking good right now. His last notable win was against Murray Akhmadov. He's not in the UFC right now. He's in I'm pretty sure he's not even in the PFL, to be honest, as well. So last time I saw Murray was in the PFL, and since then had a broken leg TKO against Uriah Hall. Sloppy fight against Tybura, and lost, and then Bruno Silva was quite sloppy too. So look, I've never really rated Chris Weidman, to be honest. Like, his path to winning that belt was against a lot of washed up fighters like Machida, who was past his prime. What's his name? Vita. Vita was like a fucking punching bag too, and he was coming off the roids. Beltov, yeah, that's right, Beltov, yeah, Belter. Oh fuck, my brain scrambled. But you know, guys, what I'm talking about. But yeah, he's part of the part, and then he fucked around with Silva too. So like, I mean, Silva fucked around with him. Like if he took it seriously, Anderson Silva, yeah, he wouldn't have lost the belt. But yeah, his more notable win was like more against Calvin Gastelum getting the submission, and then he got stopped by Rockhold. So I've never really rated Chris Weidman, to be honest, but again, you guys might turn around and go, "Oh, fuck off, man!" Like he's always been good. I honestly not thought he was being that great, to be honest. Only if Silva didn't fuck around, and I don't think Chris Weidman would have got close to that belt. But yeah, Chris Weidman, man, he's ass. He's honestly ass. He's not good at all. Like even that Bruno Silva fight, like he did have some moments where he'll use his grappling and try to get the takedowns and need Bruno Silva in the head there. Striking wise, he looked okay for an old man at 40 years old. Yeah, offensively, he would throw some low kicks, slowing down, trying to slow down Bruno Silva, and using his jab and a lot of straight shots. But defensively, he's getting touched up himself too against Bruno Silva in the second round. And Bruno Silva's fucking just shit, man, right now. He hasn't looked the same since that Piera loss. So Bruno Silva's ass. Should have been a no contest. And that last fight shouldn't even be a win for Chris Weidman. He constantly eye poked the fuck out of Bruno Silva to get a win. That was such a shocking fight, and I still don't even know why Chris Weidman was fighting in the fucking UFC, man. I don't even know why he's on the main card. Should be on the prelims, to be honest. Going against someone like Eryk Anders as well. He's old as well, like almost 38 years old. Coming up against win against Pickett. I don't even know if Jamie Pickett's still in the UFC. He's ass as well. He's not even that great himself. Lost to Marc-Andre Barrios. Had a win over Kyle Daukaus. He's probably not even in the UFC. Yeah, he's lost to Park, split, and submitted by Muniz. So like Eryk Anders, he's more of a guy that's pressure strikes, so pressure, use a lot of 1-2s, grapple against the cage, try to get some takedowns here and there. But output wise, not very good. Striking wise, like, yeah, they're both ass, man. I don't even know why it's on main card. They're both fucking ass. So yeah, it's one of those fights. Like, I feel like Eryk Anders may have probably better footwork in this matchup. Chris Weidman's quite stationary as well. Even watching that last fight, so Eryk Anders he might use some grappling, and he might take down Weidman. Who knows? I doubt it. Weidman probably will take him down this fight. But yeah, it's just a shit fucking fight. I don't even want to break this shit down, to be honest. So, look, yeah, like I said, Eryk Anders more of a press striker, throws 1-2s and uses grappling, get some takedowns. But yeah, it's probably gonna be more of a striking matchup, to be honest. I feel like it's just gonna be a bit of a boring matchup. So treat this one like a piss break. To be honest, if you guys need to go have a break from watching UFC, so use this as a piss break. Shit fight. But yeah, I'm going to go with Eryk Anders to win against Weidman. I don't even care if Weidman wins this fight. I wouldn't even bet on this fight. It's going to be such a low IQ fight, and it's just going to be sloppy. It's just a shit fight. So yeah, Eryk Anders is a pick there. I don't even care if I get that one wrong. Anyways, next up on the main card, we've got Bo Nickal versus Paul Craig. Look, I understand why this fight's on the main card. They want to hype up Bo Nickal, fair enough. Bo Nickal's on a nice little win streak here, 6-0 UFC, submitted Cody Brundage, Val Woodburn, knocked him out. So from that Val Woodburn fight, we've seen that, oh shit, this guy can strike too. So he's got knockout power as well. So striking wise is very good, like controlling the distance and using his jab and even using straight shots. So he got that knockout there with a straight shot against Woodburn. Yeah, stays at distance more. And very good at setting his takedowns up. So he's more of a grappler and a wrestler. We all know that. Very good with his jiu-jitsu as well. So he's a huge favorite in this fight. And I think in a recent interview as well, Bo Nickel said that all he's been training for was jiu-jitsu. It was like, holy fuck, man. Like, I hope, even though, like, Paul Craig's not a great striker, I hope he kind of takes it a bit more serious in the striking here and just, yeah, don't underestimate Paul Craig's striking too much, even though he's shit. So, yeah, he's a massive favorite on this one. Will he get a submission over Paul Craig, betting-wise? Probably not. Knockout, yes. If I was a betting man, I'll definitely get the knockout win over Paul Craig. So, because Paul Craig's striking is just piss poor. Like I said, like he'll just come forward, use some low kicks, body kicks. He doesn't even set up his boxing, to be honest, very well. He uses some straight shots and chin straight up in the fucking air. Like, he's even got knocked out by Johnny Walker. And Johnny Walker's not a great striker. And he had a win against Muniz. Like, that was a bit of a shit fight too. Yeah, out-grappled Muniz on the ground. Brendan Allen lost against him by submission. And then got knocked out by Kai Barillo. So, yeah, he's definitely going to get countered. He's definitely going to get countered by Bo Nickel. I think Bo Nickel will knock him out in this fight. Yeah, because Paul Craig's not very good at setting up his takedowns. He's more of a pull guard guy. So if this fight hits the ground, he's just going to lay there and wait for Bo Nickel to come into his guard. He did it with Vulcan. That's how piss poor this guy is, Paul Craig. So look, he's not a good fighter at all. I don't even know why he's still in the roster. He might even, if he loses this, he most likely will get cut. He's not entertaining at all one bit. So very high level jiu-jitsu guy. But striking wise, very piss poor, Paul Craig. I'm sorry, but yeah, he's not great at all. So Bo Nickel is a pick here, and I'm gonna go with knockout. I don't think this fight will hit the ground. If it does, I'll be like, wow, I'm surprised. What am I watching here? So 30% gonna go Craig. Fair enough. I don't even know why you guys picked Craig, but yeah, big up to you guys. So Bo Nickel's a pick here. Next up, we've got Karine Silva versus Viviane Araujo. Karine Silva here, coming on a nice little win streak. Won against Lipski De Silva. She's going by two names now. Jesus Christ. And had a submission win guillotine check over Marina Moroz. She lost the first fight against Moroz there, to be honest. So striking wise, Karine Silva, I wouldn't say it's great. Like, she will like throw some, like, her leg kicks look lazy as fuck. They don't even look like she's even trying with her striking. Like, her face looks like she just doesn't care if she gets hit, to be honest. Like, she'll throw low kicks and like she won't even care. It'd be more of a tit for tat with her striking. So if she gets hit, she'll throw one out. So she doesn't even, defensively wise, her defense is not good in the striking. She does get hit a lot. I don't think that's a good thing if he's going to go up in the division. She does use a jab pretty well, but she'd be more looking for, like, even like tying up in a clinch, she'd be looking for a takedown. So she's more of a grappler and more of a grappler than a striker. Striking wise, I think she better start cleaning that shit up, because she gets touched up a fair bit, and her face says it all that she doesn't even care. If she gets touched up, she'll just give one out to give one out. Take one to give one out. And I feel like, you know, against someone like Viviane Araujo, she can't strike like that, man. Because like Viviane Araujo, as much as she's not the best striker herself, she'll kind of like use her striking to like close the distance to get like takedowns off the fence as well. So she'll grapple against the fence to get takedowns. She hasn't been submitted as well, so that's crazy. So with Karine Silva here, her bread and butter is trying to get the fight obviously to the ground, and set up knee bars, arm bars, any type of submission on the ground. And I think this is going to be a test for her, to be honest, because Viviane Araujo hasn't been submitted, but she has been controlled on the ground at times. And striking wise, both girls are not the best, to be honest. So this could be an upset as well, because defensively, Karine Silva's not good with the striking. She gets touched up a bit too. And if she tries to get this fight on the ground, I don't know if she'll be able to will she be able to hold down Viviane Araujo and even trying to submit Viviane Araujo, like, it's gonna be hard, man. Like, she hasn't been submitted. She's at it. She's been in some bad spots herself, by even trying to get some flying guillotine chokes, and she's been put on her back and whatnot. Even that Rebus fight, she couldn't submit Rebus, but she was put in some bad positions there. By not getting the chokes and whatnot. So she can be controlled on the ground, Viviane Araujo, but offensively should be looking for the takedown as well. So this is a bit of a 50-50 fight, because both girls are not very good offensively striking. But I feel like Viviane Araujo will probably load up more of the punches than what Karine Silva will, and should be interesting who wins the exchanges on the striking and on the ground here. So it's going to be one of those, it's going to be like a fight like the Rebus fight here. So it's going to be a bit of back and forth. And once it hits the ground, who's going to have the better grappling? And I think Karine Silva might edge the grappling here on the ground. But who's going to be the person looking for more submissions than the other opponent? So Araujo will be probably trying to pull more guillotine chokes than anything. And I think Silva will be looking for more arm bars and knee bars. So, and Viviane Araujo hasn't been submitted, so it's going to be a close fight, but I could see an upset in this one. I could see Araujo actually getting a submission win over Karine Silva in this matchup here. So a lot of people counter out. They're going to go 5% Araujo, 95% Silva. So I don't know. I'm going to go Silva here because I feel like she may get more control time over Araujo on the ground, but I could be wrong. And she is younger than Araujo as well. Viviane's almost pushing 38 years old, so yeah, I could see an upset in this matchup, to be honest. So, but I'm gonna go Karine Silva here, 95%, 5% Araujo. So, look, there's a first off for anything. She could get submitted, Viviane Araujo, but I don't think she will. So, it's a 50-50 fight. I think this could be a massive upset on the card. If the judging does not get scored properly in this card, I can see Viviane causing an upset too. Next up, we've got Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. This is probably another fight I wasn't looking forward to because, yeah, I'll explain. So Charles Oliveira coming off a loss, sorry. Split loss against Arman Tsarukyan. He's kind of split the loss there. He did pretty well in the striking, some of the striking exchanges, like he used jab well. He has a killer right hand because he's finished off Chandler with a right hand. Dropped Justin Gaethje with that right hand. More of a Muay Thai striking. So clinch and throw some knees in the stomach and the head, and throw some elbows as well. And he's a high level grappler and very good set of submissions on the ground, Dars chokes, you name it, arm bars, rear naked chokes, everything. He'll set that shit up. So, but the only holes in Charles Oliveira's game and that last fight was he was constantly getting taken down by Arman as well. But striking wise, it was pretty close. Defensively, he just does get touched up a fair bit himself. He has been dropped a lot too. Even in the Dustin fight, he got dropped, even though he's got that win. Lost against Islam, got dropped by Islam as well, and got submitted. So going against someone like Michael Chandler, even though he's got the win, Michael Chandler's one of those guys where he could do well in the first round. Like, he lost against Dustin Poirier. He was doing decent in the first round. He was more calculated with his striking, and he was very, very smart on the way he used his pressure. But when round 2 came out, he just threw that fucking IQ out the window. He goes, fuck it, let's just turn this shit into a brawl. And every time Michael Chandler turns his fights into a brawl, he just loses. Turned Justin Gaethje into a brawl. Fucking lost to Charles Oliveira. That wasn't so much of a brawl. He was probably more using his head in that fight, and knocked out Dan Hooker. So yeah, and that Tony Ferguson head front kick. Oh, fuck that guy. I hate Chandler for doing that. But yeah, Tony's obviously past his prime as well. So not a great UFC run by Chandler, but yeah, he just turns everything into a brawl and just takes way too much damage. So Michael Chandler can do decent with his pressure and set up some nice combinations there and get some takedowns, but Yeah, it just gets caught up in the brawls, man. Like, I just don't like it at all. He's even got dropped by Justin Gaethje in that fight too. So, yeah, I just can't count on Michael Chandler, more so because he's almost 39. Lost the first fight to Charles Oliveira. Um, Also been sidelined for 2 years, waiting for a Conor McGregor fight, which doesn't really doesn't really hold up on his part. So, and the most active person has been Charles Oliveira. And yeah, so and Charles Oliveira just had, I think, just had a had a baby now as well. So congrats to him. Um, so yeah, I feel like Charles Oliveira is going to be too much, and I feel like he's more active than what Michael Chandler is in this matchup too. So yeah, look, Michael Chandler's fight's entertaining, but he might as well not bring a coach. He might as well tell all his coaches to stay at home, and he's going to fight the way he wants. So I'm going to go with Charles Oliveira here. 86% going to Charles Oliveira. 71% submission. Yeah, I definitely, if I was a betting man, I'd definitely put submission on the cards there. And then yeah, probably won't get the knockout, but yeah, definitely will get a submission over Chandler here. So unless Chandler gets a knockout win and pulls something out of his ass, but I highly doubt it. So Charles Oliveira is a pick here. Also, I do apologize, there's a dog snoring in the background. Not much I can do about that. Next up, we've got the main event. Oh my god, finally we got to the main fight. Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Yeah. Look, it is what it is. There's no point of complaining about it. It should be Jon Jones versus Aspinall. But you're gonna have the Jones guys. You know, as much as Jones is great, but piece of shit outside the cage, shit person, but a great fighter, to be honest. Some may say he lost to Dominic Reyes. Fair enough. It is what it is. It's behind us. He is getting old too. He's 37 years old. Jones has been sidelined with an injury. I think it was a pec injury. I'm pretty sure it was when he tried. Yeah, it was a pec injury. Yeah, and yeah, it was Cyril Gane. Like he looked like he was on top of the world. He was coming off a loss against Nagano, sorry, and was a very high level kickboxer as well. And but yeah, there was a lot of holes in Gane's takedown defense, and they copied the blueprint from Nagano and took him down pretty easily and submitted him with the front check there and putting all his weight on Gane. So Jon Jones ran through him. Fight didn't last long. Look, he's definitely the GOAT of light heavyweight. His only loss was that 6 to 12 elbows. What do they call it? 6 to 12 elbows. Against Matt Hamill, but yeah, they might overturn it. Who knows? So he's technically undefeated in a way. But yeah, going against someone like going against someone like Stipe Miocic, it's a winnable fight because Stipe hasn't been active, right? So Jon Jones, very good at controlling range, throwing in bleed kicks, spinning kicks. He more so chops down the leg, staying at range, and very good at clinching and throwing elbows and knees, and very good at setting up his takedown. So, but boxing wise, like he's probably doesn't have the best hands, and but controlling wise and controlling the fight, he's very good, and yeah, he's very well-rounded guy. But like I said, with his hands, probably wouldn't be the best there against Stipe. But yeah, Stipe, more of a guy that he's coming off a loss against Nagano as well. He was using his footwork, more so in that fight there on the outside. He wasn't really pressure striking. Why would you against Nagano? So with Stipe here, he's pretty stiff too. Like he's not very loose with his striking as well, but he's very good throwing combinations on his pressure striking. He does have wrestling in his back pocket. He doesn't really use it. He was even taken down against DC with a double leg. And he was getting picked apart with DC against DC, but again in that second fight, I'm not talking about the third fight, I'm talking about the second fight. He would pressure DC, constantly come forward, and outstruck DC with his pressure as well. So he pretty much was taking a lot of damage from DC just to kind of close the distance and make DC fall with his pressure there with his boxing. So yeah, like I said, wrestling in the back pocket, but he doesn't use them much. He still got taken down by DC, and Jon Jones is a very high level wrestler as well. So um I'd say even the Nagano fight, the first one, he took him down multiple times because Nagano's wrestling wasn't that great. In the second fight, he wasn't gonna take Nagano down because Nagano's wrestling got a lot better over the years, and yeah, I knew that Nagano was gonna flatline Stipe, just didn't know which round. So yeah, even in this fight, I feel like Stipe is just, yeah, he's too old, man. He's like pushing 42, but you never say never, I guess. See how motivated he is. He's a heavy underdog. He's the GOAT, I guess, of the heavyweight division because he took out DC as well. 2-1 against him. So yeah, I feel like Jones is just gonna, you know, pick his legs apart at the range, throw oblique kicks because it has stationary. Stipe can be, unless he just constantly makes it a dirty fight. Unless he just pushes forwards, tries to find a way to close the distance with footwork. Like he uses his footwork's alright. It was alright last fight, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know at 42 years old. Yeah, unless he turns his fight into a dirty one and closes distance and somehow outboxes and knocks out Jon Jones. Could be a very slim chance of that, but I don't think it will happen. Jon Jones is very good at using his footwork and staying at range and taking the fight where he wants it to go. So yeah, I feel like it's gonna be I feel like Jon Jones is gonna be really, really defensive, and once he gets that takedown, and I think he'll get it, he's gonna be more. He'll use a takedown, and I don't think Stipe is gonna get back up. I think Jon Jones is gonna be very good at keeping Stipe down, and he'll probably get some ground and pound with the elbows. Now that it's 6 to 12 elbows or whatever you call it, those are going to come in. So he's going to be using elbows in every way. I think I see a ground and pound elbow stoppage, to be honest, in this fight. And I'm going to say round 2 or round 3. But I'm going to go round 2 because Stipe is getting old as fuck. So, but yeah, I'll be laughing if Stipe knocks out Jon Jones in this fight, but I don't think he will. Jon Jones is too smart with his octagon IQ. So Jon Jones is a pick here. Sorry for the long breakdown of this fight, but Jon Jones is a pick here. This is how he's going to get done. A lot of people are going to go 39% TKO, and I think I'm going to go with that. Submission, maybe, yes, could be on the decision 27s. So it's like almost 30% of TKO, submission, and decision. But there's more of a higher ratio for TKO. Yeah, and 79% TKO for Stipe, 30% going with Miocic, and 475. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a huge underdog right there. So hope you guys enjoyed my picks today. Again, very, very bad pay-per-view main card. But the undercard looks good. I hope that some of these fights get moved around. Oh shit, sorry. Yeah, I hope some of these fights get moved around. Fuck, where was I? Yeah, I hope that some of these fights get moved around. I hope those fights on the main card don't stay that way. Stay that way. Yeah, it's just I feel like Jonathan Martinez could kind of squeeze in there. Take the Eryk Anders and Chris Weidman fight out, and get the Martinez and McGhee fight in there. I feel like that'd be more of a better striking matchup than those two fucking idiots. Like, not idiots, but like they're just shit. They're just shit. They're not main card material. They're more prelim material because of their names. But I feel like get them in there on the main card and put Chris Weidman and Eryk Anders on the early prelims. Not early prelims. Headline the ESPN prelims. So yeah. Anyways, those are my picks. Like I said, prelims look better than the main card. There's probably about 3 fights on the main card that I'm looking forward to. Bo Nickel, Charles, and the Jon Jones, even though Jon Jones will definitely retire after this fight, guys. So he ain't fighting Aspinall. There's no way he's fighting Aspinall unless UFC throws a fucking ridiculous amount of money towards his way to fight Aspinall. but he's not fighting Aspinall. He knows how his body responds right now at 37 years old. And that's why he picked this fight. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this breakdown, the full card breakdown. We'll be back with Jan versus DeFees and Figueroa, and that went for an hour. Jesus Christ! All right, guys, take care.